How's it going? Welcome back to Oak and Blade. So autumn is in the air, and I can think of nothing better to cook than a winter squash. So today we're gonna cook some acorn squash, and we're gonna stuff it with sausage. So it can't be that bad, but yeah, it's gonna be great. So I'm actually doing this also for an article in the War Kitchen magazine. If you haven't ever checked that out, you should, because they're doing awesome stuff over there at the War Kitchen. Rocky is knocking it out of the park with that thing. Very artful, very tasteful. I highly advise you go check it out. I've written articles the last 2 months for them. We did the chimichurri, and we did an article on Oktoberfest. Anyway, great magazine, and I was trying to think of things to do for November. You know, it's fall, so we're gonna do some fall flavors, and you know, it's getting cooler outside, and you want something that's a little more homey and sticks to your ribs a little bit. So I think our homemade sausage stuffed in the acorn squash. We're gonna add some apples. We're gonna caramelize some onions in it, and a little Parmigiano Reggiano. I guess it'll be pretty good. So let's get started. Now, before you freak out, yes, I am cooking on a Pit Boss pellet smoker. You could do this in the oven. And when I tested the recipe, I did it in the oven, and it turned out great. Yeah, it's gonna be a little different, probably a little better on the smoker. If you could do it on a smoker, you should try. Yeah, I'm using a Pit Boss Austin XL. It's a cooking machine, I'll tell you. But anyway, don't stress that I'm using this. This is essentially just an oven, and it has a little bit of smoke flavor. So don't worry about that. Do an oven if you have that. Anyway, it's set to 400 degrees right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on these squash. And what I'm gonna do, it's gonna depend a little bit on your squash. These both have the stems kind of the protruding up out of the squash. Some squashes that I've used are more concave where the stem is. And what I want to do is going to dictate how you prep this thing to cook it. Because what I want to cut a flat surface on each end, and then I want to cut it in half. But if this is too concave where the stem is, you're going to have to cut too much out. So what I'll do in that case is I'll just cut a small bit off each side here, and then I'll cut it down the middle. The way I can open it up, and it doesn't roll around. But anyway, these are fine the way they are. So I'm going to cut just enough to get rid of that stem and have a flat end, and I'm going to cut just enough here to have a flat end, and then we'll cut this thing right down the middle. So a lot of talking there for a little bit of explaining. Anyway, we're just going to cut like that. Just cut the least amount off as you can, so you're not like actually getting inside into the cavity there. And that's going to give you a flat area for it to sit. And then we'll do the same thing on this end. Just make a flat side. And then go right down between them and cut them in half. So now they'll sit nice and flat and they won't roll around. But like I was saying, if your stem end is more concave, you may have to cut a little sliver off this side, a little sliver off this side, and then cut it down the middle and open it that way. You're just gonna have to figure it out. Use your brain, all right? So anyway, we got that, and I'm gonna have to go get a spoon. I'm gonna open the door up. It's getting a little smoky in here. It's been a little while since I've cleaned that thing out, so I think I've got some pork fat in there burning off. So we're gonna go ahead and finish prepping these squash. So we got them cut open in half. We're just going to take a spoon and we're just going to dig in there and drag the guts out. Let's get all the seeds and all the, as much of the little fibers that are in there as possible. So you want it to look like that. Cut right down the middle. These both said Acorn Squash. It's just one's a lot more orange than the other. I thought they looked cool, so I got some other ones inside that are a little more like green and white speckled looking. You know, they're squash. They're a work of art. Beautiful. So buy the cool looking ones. Eat them. If I wasn't such a crappy gardener, I would have these, I can't remember what they're called. It's a squash, and they're like olive green. They look so cool. But I'm a terrible gardener, I'm lazy, and I didn't plant them. We don't have them, maybe next year. Those are all prepped up. And what I want to do now is some olive oil. And we just want to drizzle some on here. Like so. And we want to hit them with some salt and pepper. Alright. And some pepper. Beautiful. Beautiful. And now we're just going to throw them in the oven. And we're going to let them roast for 35, 40 minutes or so. Just until they're fork tender. So you can poke a fork in them and they've got some give to them. It doesn't feel like it's still a hard raw squash. And the skin will start wrinkling up around the edges. So we'll go ahead and get them thrown on the smoker or your oven. All right, we'll let them go about 35 to 40 minutes, and we'll see you then. All right, while the squash is roasting, we are going to go ahead and get the filling put together. So you might think, oh, I could just stuff sausage right in there and just bake it together. Well, you're wrong. And the reason is the sausage is going to cook quicker than the squash. So you're going to have overcooked sausage and undercooked squash. I tried it. I thought, this is a cool idea. I'm just going to pack raw sausage right in the squash and just cook it. It was so boring. It was bad texture. It didn't work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cook the sausage. I'm going to pull it out of the pan. Then we're going to add onion, a little garlic. Right at the end, we'll throw in our apple and then kill the heat. That'll be our filling. I got the pan heating up over here. Sausage, we just made another video for it. If you want the recipe, go click the link down below. And it's going to make some good sausage. So we're going to use a pound of that, roughly. And we're just going to let it start cooking over here while we get our veggies prepped. Go ahead and get this onion cut up. What we're going to do is we'll just cut the onion down the middle, and we're just going to cut it into like 1/4 inch slices. Like that. And then the apple, we're just going to cut it into little chunks, probably like 1/4 inch or so squares. Just cut all the flesh off the core. And we'll cut them into about 1/4 inch slices, flip them over, cut them into 1/4 inch that way, and then 1/4 inch this way. Little cubes, cute little apple cubes. And these are Honeycrisp apples, the best apples in my opinion. So we're just cutting it like that. Nothing fancy. We just want nice, nice rings of onion. Okay, sausage is starting to look pretty good. Getting some nice brown bits in there. Everything's cooked through. I think I'm gonna pull it out, and I want to try to leave quite a bit of the fat in there because I want to use it to saute the onions. Let some of that fat drain out from underneath it there. I'm just gonna dump it out into this sort of bowl, little meat bowl. We'll just set the pork aside for now. It'll enter back into the equation here soon. For now though, all that leftover sausage fat, we're gonna put our onions right into that. Ow! Try not to splash yourself. I'm just gonna slide this over where it's a little more convenient for me. And now we're just gonna saute these up. And I'll probably turn the heat down a little bit, like medium low. And I want to brown these up nice, get them a little caramelized, nice and soft. And, let's go ahead and salt them. Salt the onions like that. Okay. While the onions are cooking, I want to get like 4 cloves of garlic. These aren't very big, so you know, you might have to adjust it for your own garlic to get those monster garlics. Get on the garlic, and we'll wait till the onions are pretty much done before we add the garlic. I don't want to cook the garlic too heavily. Let's get these suckers browned up. Oh yeah, cooking in that pork fat. Freaking sausage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So these will take a little bit, you know, I don't want to burn them, and I also want them to caramelize pretty good. So I've got them on like medium lowish, and we're just gonna cook them down there nice and soft and brown, and not like super caramelized, but you know, you'll see. I'll show you. All right, these onions are starting to look the way I want them. Might go a little bit longer. Ah, that's good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add in the garlic. Let's let that cook for a few minutes. Continue to brown those onions up a little bit. I've got I have a few leaves of sage here, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop those up, and we'll throw that in as well. There's quite a bit of sage in the sausage, but I don't feel like it's really gonna hurt to have more. So it's probably like half a tablespoon once this is all chopped up, maybe a tablespoon. I'll go ahead and throw that in, and then I have about a teaspoon of fresh thyme. I'll go and throw that in there. It was left over from making sausage, so we'll go ahead and utilize it. Oh, that's smelling pretty good. So all the onions are you know, pretty soft now, and a lot of them are getting a nice brown color. And that's really about all I'm looking for on that. I'm just going to go ahead and throw in the apples. I'm going to kill the heat too. I'm just going to use the residual heat in the pan. I don't really need to cook the apples because I kind of want you to know that the apple's there. I don't want them to get mushy and disappear into everything. And I'm going to go ahead and dump the sausage back in too. and let all those flavors start getting to know each other in there. And that'll be good enough until the squashes come out. All right, it's been 40 minutes, so we'll go ahead and pull these squash off the smoker. How to feel? Yeah, that'll do. Tender little guys. So what we want to do now is we're just going to let them cool off just for a few minutes, so that we can handle them a little bit. And I'm going to drop the temperature down to 375. So you can let these cool down. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and do this. But what we want to do is take a spoon. We want to scoop out some of the flesh, and we'll leave about 1/4 of an inch all the way around the inside of the squash. And everything that you scoop out of there, we're gonna chop it up, and we're gonna put it in with our filling. So should be, tender enough that you can easily scrape the flesh out. Just be careful to leave some behind inside the shell of the squash. Don't take out too much. Like I said, leave about 1/4 of an inch or so. That's good enough on that. I feel like I'm gonna destroy it. You don't want to tear up the outer casing, the outer shell, because you want it to be a cup. You want it to hold the filling. Just be careful with them. These are still pretty hot. But I'm a man. So now I'm gonna kind of roughly chop up this squash flesh. And then we're gonna throw it in to our sausage and onion mixture. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and distribute that in to the meat. Okay, so the last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add in some Parmigiano Reggiano. So I've already got it shredded up. I bought a wedge of it and shredded it before I came out here. I'm gonna put, this is probably like 1.5 cups. So I'm gonna put about half of this in. So 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup I'm gonna put right in to the filling. Go ahead and mix that up. And I think you should taste it at this point and make sure that it's salty enough. We've added apples, we've added the flesh from the squash, the onions. We salted a little bit, we salted the onions, but just make sure that we're good. And the Parmesan's gonna add some salt too. Yeah, I don't think we need any more. So now we can go ahead and put this filling back into the squash. Just like that. So simple. So we can kind of mound it up. A little more on that one. Okay. I'm all stuffed. Now I'll go ahead and put them, I'm just going to put them right back in the skillet. And we're going to put them back in the smoker or the oven. So before I put them back in, I'm going to just top them with a little bit more of this Parmesan. Okay, the rest of that will be a snack. Okay, so I'm gonna pop them back in the smoker, and we're gonna let them go for probably 20 minutes at 375. Just heat everything through, melt the cheese in there. It's gonna be good. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out and we'll check them and see how they are. I think they're probably done though. Oh yeah, those are looking good. So the last thing we're gonna do is I've made some hot maple syrup, and you can see the video for that and the link in the description below. It's a different video. But it's just maple syrup, a little cider vinegar, salt, red pepper flakes, and some jalapeno powder. So not super hot, just hot enough. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drizzle this right over the squash, like so. Well, nothing left to do but to give her a taste test. I'm gonna dig into the orange one. I like the flavor orange. Oh yeah, that's cooked nice. Oh yeah. All right, let's see if we can burn my mouth off. Pot. Oh! Let's get a smaller bite. Try it again. Where do we have here? Oh man, packed with flavor. So, the sausage, nailed it. Salty, herby, and then nice sweet heat from that maple syrup. You guys got to definitely try this one out. Perfect fall, autumn recipe. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. We got a recipe for the sausage, the hot maple syrup, and now this beauty. So the links are in the description. Go check them out, cook them. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Like it, subscribe. Go sign up for my email subscription so you don't miss any more recipes. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.